So looking at the units that we're producing here now. So just looking at equivalent units again, we started off physical units we see is 50,000 because we started with 10 and then started in 40,000 started in June, so its total is 50. Now on the way out, we also see that completed units was 44,000 and ending work in process is 6,000. So you see the 50 is still matches 50. So that's the flow in June. Now you know that the completed and transferred out units were 44,000 in each aspect, 100% complete. So there's no partial there. Now notice for the 6,000 itself that in the description of the problem it said that for the direct materials 100% was complete, but direct labor and overhead were 50 and 60%. So all you do now is you apply that 50 and 60%. You apply that 50 and 60% to the 6,000. Because 6,000 you have ending units. But to come up with equivalent, since labor was half done, overhead 3/5 done, you multiply it out, 50%, 60%, you get the equivalent unit. What is that good for? Because now we see total units in each aspect. Material, we have 50,000. Labor, we have 47,000. And overhead, we have 47,600. So now we know what the units are. So now we can look at the costs. Now, costs in the beginning work in process, they were given to us. This was in the WIP. 10,000, 1,060, 1,620. We see the total of 12,680. And costs added during the period they also gave us. So this is all adds up to total costs that were added up throughout the period. Now the way we look at cost per equivalent unit is we divide this total cost by the equivalent units provided. So the cost was just given to us. We just took the material from the work in process and also the incurred cost during June, and it just gave us those. So we just added up. The denominator is your total equivalent units, and the equivalent units we just looked at. It's literally that sum that we had for each aspect based on how much was transferred out was 44,000 plus the piece that was not transferred and its percentage. We just looked at it. So we see the cost per unit here, $54,000 divided by 50,000, which is units. All right. Now we have for labor 23,500,000 that was given divided by 47,000 equivalent units. How do we get 47,000 equivalent units? Well, 44,000 was transferred out. That was 100% complete. And then we had 6,000 that was where labor was half done. It's like we made the surfboard, but 50% of the work was done making the surfboard, and 50% of the work is yet to be done. So I have to take the 6,000 and take only half of it. So it's 3,000. 44,000 was done. So 44 plus 3 is 47. So that's how I get 50 cents here per labor unit. And then we have overhead. Again, how do we get the total cost? We just summed it up. And equivalent units, what I did was I took 6,000, I multiplied it by 60% to see how many equivalent units I have. Alright? So now I can see cost assigned to units transferred out. I mean, this is just what was transferred out, the 44,000 units. And how much can dollar value can I assign to that? Well, I just multiplied by the cost per equivalent unit for materials. So I have 44,000 equivalent units. I know it's $1.08, so I multiply it out. And then in labor, I know it's 22,000 that I have here because it's 44,000 that was transferred out times 50 cents. And in overhead, I have 44,000 equivalent units times 0.95 that I know is getting transferred out. So that's how I see it. And then it's the same exact thing for the work in process pieces that are still left there. We know how many units are there for each piece. It's 6,000, 3,000, and 3,600, and we multiply each by their applicable cost.